Hello everyone and welcome to the F1 Corner for this race recap after the British Grand Prix won by Lewis Hamilton in front of Charles Leclerc and Valtteri Bottas. A controversial win, and we will start with that in just a moment. But please remember to smash the like button and to subscribe to this channel so that you get every update regarding this exciting 2021 Formula One season. So, controversial win for Lewis Hamilton. The reason is simple. Lap 1, Hamilton and Verstappen are fighting very hard. Collision between the two drivers caused, according to the stewards, by Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen is out of the race and he even had to go to the hospital for some checkups to make sure he had no lasting injuries. This is how severe his crash was. Hamilton picking up a 10-second penalty for that, but damage was done already for Red Bull. Both the drivers just out of the race for Red Bull after also the sprint of Saturday that saw Sergio Perez fall short in last place. So weekend to forget for the energy drink team. On the other side, this was the opportunity for Mercedes to close the gap to Red Bull, but yeah, pretty controversial events in that case. Still, we had a good race. Charles Leclerc led for 50 of the 52 laps of that race in front of Hamilton and fell short just at the end. Hamilton was just too quick and was able to overtake Leclerc. So good race in that sense, but also controversial one. I must also say it was a bit weird this morning since we had a race on Saturday with the sprint. It did not feel like proper race day excitement, at least in my case. I don't know about you guys, tell me in the comments. But yeah, something was just felt wrong to some extent. So yeah, Mercedes wins, close the gap. Lewis Hamilton minus 25, so it's 8 points difference now between Verstappen and Hamilton. Mercedes still behind Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship, but still, if you look at Ferraris on the positive side, let's change team here. Ferraris second place. They probably did not expect to be that high in the standing, but Charles Leclerc somehow managing to pull this little miracle off, finishing in second place, and even his teammate Carlos Sainz in sixth was sticking to the back of the two McLarens of Ricciardo and Norris. So Ferrari really had some strong pace during that race, and there was nothing that the McLaren could do about that. So the fight for the championship for both first and second and third and fourth is really at its peak once again, and everything very exciting in that regard. So Valtteri Bottas in third place was pretty much doomed to be there, since after the pit stop Lewis Hamilton was coming from behind and there was obviously orders to not block Hamilton for the championship battle, so Bottas had to stick to third place. McLaren fourth and fifth, very good result for Norris and Ricciardo, but this is something that we expected already. After the sprint on Saturday, Lando Norris made it clear that they did not have the pace to fight the Ferraris, and this is pretty much the best that they could hope for this weekend. So a bit of a boring race, if you want, for the McLaren. They already knew where they would start and finish. Then as we go further down, Fernando Alonso 7th, Esteban Ocon 9. This was also pretty clear after the sprint on Saturday that the Alpine had very good pace. for that race that they had a chance for points, even though they officially qualified outside the top 10 on Friday. They made up some ground during the sprint, started the actual race for Alonso in 7th place, so really everything was there for them, and they managed to capitalize on that, which is very good for Alpine that want to bring the fight for 5th place in the championship, especially when you look at what happened to the other teams fighting for 5th. Alfa Romeo, Tauri, sorry. Pierre Gasly out of the point in 11, Yuki Tsunoda only 10th place, 1 small points, and it looked like that kind of weekend for Alfa Tauri. During the qualifying session on Friday, they were out of the top 10, which is not happening often, especially for Pierre Gasly this season, and it just seemed like this track does not suit the car. Hopefully they can come back strong for the next race in Hungary in 2 weeks. And Aston Martin, the other team, fighting for 5th. Lance Stroll 8th place, good job for the Canadian driver. Sebastian Vettel DNF, had a spin on lap 40, on the restart on lap 4, and fell in last place, obviously, after the restart of the red flag caused by Max Verstappen, and tried to climb back up the order, but because these teams are fighting in a very tight midfield, could not really do anything magical, and Vettel ended up retiring on lap 41. Some issues with the car, we're not exactly sure what yet, but yeah, some points from Lance Stroll, good overall, better than AlphaTauri, but the Alpine here takes the best of the 5th place championship points available. Then as we go down the order, George Russell, who qualified in 8th place on Friday, P12 only. This was to be expected. Obviously, already during the sprint, Russell fell quite a few places. Officially started 9, but if not for the bad luck of Sainz and Perez during the sprint, Russell would have already had been out of the top 10. So that's a trend we saw coming. The Williams, good in qualifying, but unable to capitalize during the race. His teammate Nicolas Latifi in 14th place. Good job for Latifi, honestly. But also helped by a few fortunate events. Raikkonen and Perez colliding, especially Raikkonen spinning so Latifi could pass, and Perez doing an extra pit stop to get the fastest lap of the race, to steal it from Lewis Hamilton. So Williams, good weekend at home. I think they can be proud of what they achieved, and compared to where they were last year, this is definitely a big improvement. Alfa Romeo, we had hope for them. Kimi Raikkonen had gained a lot of places during the sprint. Already at the start of the actual race, Raikkonen gained 4 extra places, was running, I believe, P10 for quite a while, but unfortunately, because of the events that I mentioned, colliding with Perez, and also just because of the pace of the Alfa Romeo overall, could not capitalize and score points. But there was hope for the Italian team, who just renewed its partnership with Sauber. So yeah, good job for Alfa Romeo, I think, all things considered. Giovinazzi 13, Raikkonen 15, and finally, yeah, we go to Haas. Nikita Mazepin finishing in front of Mick Schumacher, something I believe we haven't seen yet this season. So good job, Nikita. I think maybe he's starting to get into this Formula One mood and learning the ropes. We hope it is the case, honestly. And yeah, finally Sergio Perez 16, mentioned it, he did an extra pit stop to get the fastest lap out of Lewis Hamilton. And yeah, this is the end of the British Grand Prix. I'm mitigated regarding the sprint format. I will not speak too much about it now. There's a whole video about that coming this week about my verdict on the sprint format. But I think what we can remember from this weekend, what we have to take out is that the fight for the championship is still on. Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen closer than they were before by only 8 points now to the championship, 7, 8. And same for Red Bull and Mercedes. Third place championship points, McLaren, Ferrari also in full throttle. And yeah, the same can be said for fifth place between Aston Martin, Alpine, and Alfa Tauri. And going into Hungary, I think it's a track that will benefit the Red Bull because historically Red Bull has been good on slower track with lots of slow corners and needing downforce. This is a car that really perform well on those tracks. And you know, I was surprised to see the Ferrari fight the Mercedes today. Are the Mercedes falling even more behind than they were before? Question marks on that side from my part. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. Remember to smash the like button and to subscribe to this channel so that you do not miss any update regarding this whole 2021 Formula 1 season. And remember, verdict video on the sprint format coming this week. Thank you for watching, everyone, and take care.